If you want to make money with AI, you're going to have to stop trying to sell AI automations or just plain AI agents. You're going to have to start learning how to build complete AI products that has a proper front end and back end. And in this video, I'm going to show you why it's so important. And I'm going to actually give you a full blueprint for an AI SaaS little product that you can build out for yourself, add a bunch of things to, that creates a bunch of value, and it's an actual product that you can take out and sell to businesses because it creates value and is actually functional. So stick with me. This is going to be an awesome video. You'll learn why we need to change the way we think, and then you'll learn how we can build out these awesome products, connect the back end to a front end, and why it's so important. So come with me, enjoy this video, and we're going to have a great time together. All right, really have something exciting to share with you. And let me just explain again. I've gone over this a couple of times this week, and I really hope it's setting in. And you need to understand why. It's because a lot of people are doing these normal automations, and yes, they work really well, and yes, they sold really well early on. A lot of people have made a lot of money about it. But the problem is it's oversaturated. Everyone uses it. They're all over the internet. And a lot of non-technical people can apply them right now. But let's just talk about the use cases. They're very singular use cases. Maybe you have an AI agent in N8N that can do a lot of things, but they're very limited in functionality when you look at the big picture. And the second bigger problem with all of these is the front end. Now, for example, this one is all over social media, and you actually use Telegram. So if you want to sell this to a business, the business has got to commit to buying a program like Telegram, for example. Likewise, if we're going to do the Google Sheets or Microsoft, and it's all different front ends that is also starting to implement AI in their systems for them to sell and use. So you're really competing with a big front end system. Now, it's really changed. It's really a new trend, and you have the opportunity to jump onto this to build a complete system. And it's a complete front end that's yours or the business that you're going to sell it to, that's totally customizable. It's for them, it's made by them, and it works really, really well, right? So, and I'll show you what I mean by this when we scroll down here, and I'll show you a little thing I built out in here. And it's a total AI system and a total AI solution in for this. And it just means that we take all the tools and everything we have together, and we build a product with multiple functions and multiple capability to it, and we make our own front end. I think the big trick here is the front end. If you don't come from a side where you build customizable front end or perfect front end that's personalized, then you'll probably see how you can do a different back end to it and add functionality to that. Like I always said, why build a website is just going to be plain with no function to it. But all of these can integrate and fix in together to build one amazing product. And I call it the super AI system. There's AI infrastructure. There's a lot of buzzwords that's going to come out and come around with this, but they all work different, and they all work on the same concept where we're going to build a front end that has functionality. So it becomes a product that is your own. So it's a SaaS that you can sell. Now, all of these work really well. When we talk about front end side of things, you have cloud-based integration front end via coding, so normal talk to coding functions, and you have Lovable and Bolt that sits in the cloud, and you got to subscribe and pay for them because obviously cloud using VM machines takes electricity and bandwidth and so on. So you're going to pay for them to build your front end, and it's really good to build out web applications, websites, and things like that. And then kind of one level down is the cursor and windsurf. It loads and sits on your computer that can do your programming and editing for you with their AI assistants. And yep, that they work really well, but at the end of the day, you got to upload those somewhere as well. And then there's a next level down. There's going to be Claude Code, OpenAI's Codex, and recently Gemini CLI. Now it's really good because it's free. It doesn't use a lot of resources. There's no big front end built into those systems. So you actually work almost directly with their back end, and it makes it a lot cheaper and easier to use. So the idea is that we're going to build a proper system that you can use or you can sell to businesses. And it's going to be a dummy system that I have from my main side hustle SaaS. And the thing is that it works on any devices. Now, I've built some things out on mobile phones and they work really well. Kind of when you build out websites and stuff, a cloud-based program is really well. But when we're going to build stuff on our local devices, we need a cursor or a command line CLI type of interface. And all we're going to do, and I'm going to show you today, is a lowered down version of my main application, but it's a Chrome extension that initiates a call. So where does this work great? So let's say you are a AI automation business seller. You can come into any website. So for example, this website in here, you will have your, and we'll go through it, you will have your pop-up and your extension on the side. It will scan through, it will find a business name, it will find some names, it'll find some phone numbers, put it in a form. Once you hit submit, it's going to trigger a outbound call voice AI assistant that is going to either action on what your message says or give them options and then provide them more tools. So in this example, what we're going to build, just because it's a lower down version from my other one, but my other actual product sends SMSs, emails, and does the phone calls. But in this example, it's just going to be the concept. So I'm going to show you how we can scan a website, find a name, find a phone number, or add them manually, then add a customizable message. And then we're going to get our voice AI receptionist to call them saying, hey, I'm Altus's receptionist. Altus has just visited your website. He thinks that Alex is doing an awesome job at those landscaping. He saw a photo of landscape and camera. It looks really cool. We love your business idea and we'd like to work with you in your landscaping business. Would you mind transferring a call so I can transfer you now to Altus or book in a meeting in the future? Okay, so why does that work really well? It's just easy functionality for businesses like solutions like this. Or imagine you are a retail real estate agent that scrolls through listings on a website and you want to offer your services to them. It can literally go through and you can get this voice AI assistant to call them. Hey, I'm the receptionist for Altus Real Estate Agency. I saw that you have a listing on whatever listing platform is. Altus is an expert agent. He can definitely sell your house for easy, fast. Can we book in a call? All right. So really good value in it. And we're going to build it all out right here, live build. Pretty much start to finish, we're going to use Claude, Gemini, Retail. Twilio is going to integrate in there. I'm not going to show you much in it, but you need a telephone number to call out, right? And Retail actually gives you some free numbers to use, and Twilio does too. And I'm going to show you my setup that I already have. We're going to build it out. An actual callable assistant that's it's going to be a receptionist that makes a call to a lead and then gives them the option to get a transfer out or to make a booking. So that just takes a bit of pressure off the actual person, the agent, the sales team. If you've done cold calling, you know you do 10 and only one phone call actually rings. So it cuts it out, helps it. So a lot into it. You're going to definitely learn things around all of this and you're going to understand why it's so important. And best part is we can actually integrate this with these tools, and it's really low cost. I won't say it's free because you got to pay for some of these functionalities to call out, but you can take this and literally go sell this afterwards. Like I said, you probably need to tweak it a little bit. I have one that I've upgraded and it actually does SMS, email, or a phone call. Okay, so lots to it, and it adds it to a CRM. This is going to be the basic version, a concept. You're going to learn something, but I need you to understand why this is so important. So yeah, looking forward to it. And let's now take a breather and get ready into this awesome build. Okay, let's get this started. So obviously, just before we get too far, remember to please go check out the actual paid community. There is a lot of courses in there, including a bunch of stuff on retail AI that I'm going to show you, and VAPI obviously, but how to connect retail AI, specifically connecting retail AI to advertising kind of platforms to make a cold calling and go high level calendars as such as well. So we're kind of going to talk about these functions, but I'm not going to build them out now because we want to keep it up to the basics. But obviously, it's in the paid community, and once you join up, you'll get about $5,000 worth of free goodies, including high level. And I've just added about 40 hours of marketing training, which is really good. If you don't want to pay, there's the free call, the free community. You just got to look up the AI agency free resources. It's got a bunch of cool free resources in here that you can download and play around with. But let's start building out that amazing backend, and obviously we're gonna do it in retail AI. So you just gotta go there. It's same as Vappy really, but it's free to register. I just prefer retail over this. I think the AI infrastructure is just a little bit better, and I just like it because it's a little bit cleaner and doesn't have a lot of clutter to it. Now, what you're gonna need to do is go out and register, and you're gonna have to buy a phone number. I would buy my phone numbers from Twilio, always buy it from Twilio, and they have really good, easy integration into Twilio so you can get a number. So the very least you need to do is go get yourself retail AI and go get yourself a Twilio number. Now, so first thing we're going to do is we're just going to start a new agent. And if you haven't used retail, we're going to come in here, agents, and we're going to create a new agent. And it's going to be a voice agent. Now, do you remember that there's going to be a proof of concept? And our idea that we're going to build is um, the extension you're going to be able to click and you're going to send a message, and your receptionist, which is this, is going to call the business with a message for the receptionist, and from us to them. And the call to action is going to be a call transfer or a booking. I'm not going to build out the call transfer in the booking system, and the other stuff. I've got other videos out on it because I want to show you the back end and front end, but that's what I mean with multiple capability. And by the way, the biggest trick, if you have high level and you're doing outbound calling, you can only do it in things like retail and Vappy. And a lot of people, including myself in here, has got these really fancy and hard out automations, and I built a pretty good N8N one as well to make bookings within high level. And they're pretty good and they work well, but you just got to build out the workflow. However, here's a trick. Just transfer your calls to a high level incoming agent that has a calendar on it and just works. All right. So don't struggle with these things. Just transfer your call. If someone says they want to make a booking right now, say, hey, I'll transfer you to our booking receptionist, transfer it to high level, and high level will book it for you. It's really easy. Really good tip and trick. But anyway, back we go. We're going to use a blank agent. We're going to say create. And this one we're going to call the Chrome extension, or I shouldn't have gone the Flow one. I actually just want a normal blank agent, voice AI agent. And we're going to do a single prompt agent. Sorry for that. These are pretty cool, by the way, but it's all right. We're going to keep it very basic so I can show it to you. And we're going to rename this one just in the top here, and we are going to call this the Chrome extension receptionist. Now, mostly settings you can literally just leave as it is. It's pretty good as it is. You'll pay for your own AI tokens if you want to. The basic setup is good, okay? Including the basic voices in here. Obviously, you got lots of different options in here. 11 labs, pretty good. Hopefully, they bring number 3 in. Just think how cool that's going to be when it comes out. Including your LLM. You can see the prices. I like it. It's pretty good. Just the way it is. Good, just the way it is. Now, in regards to our prompts, so a couple of important things. We are going to work with dynamic variables, and it will all make sense later because we are going to send through our message to this AI agent. It needs to know what we want to say. Now we need to consider also cold calling voice AI outbound phone agents is really hard because you're going to call someone else, and once they answer, you can't just have this voice AI agent ramble on, blah, 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 blah. Um, it needs to be a normal phone call. If you call me, I'm going to say hello. You're going to say hello. This is so and so. And then you're going to have a bit of introduction. But you need to wait for that first hello and ask who we're talking to. So it just takes a bit of prompting and configuring out. And I just bold. I went to Claude. I used Claude Sonnet, and I went for a total conversation. Now, I won't type it all in, but basically the important parts are that we are receiving. So you can just pause this, read over it. We are receiving a custom message that we want to pass on to someone that we're calling. When they pass on that message, they don't just need to give the message verbatim, but they need to give the message conversationally. Okay, so it sounds silly, but you got to tell these AI systems to do those things sometimes. And then our call to action is always going to be, can I transfer you now or make that booking? And then we need to think about that conversation flow again. Uh, hello, who's this, and through. And I've put all this in. You can pause it, rewrite it. I'll paste it in the free group. Come free group, join up, free. I'll put it in here. This little prompt at the end of the day. I mean, I just put a little bit about the business in case some people say, what business are you? And it will come in here and do that. So initially it gave a bit of a prompt and I said, hey, we need to build in some human-like sounding and conversations because we take briefs and we ums and we ahs and we like ohs. So I just went through and we'll just go through the prompt quickly, because again, that's proving a concept to you, but you also want to know how to build these, right? So it says who you are, what we're doing, there's a message to deliver, and these we're going to have to pass along. Okay, so speech patterns, so this is the human part, pronunciations, human behaviors, all right, the flow. So here's scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. So instead of saying I'm calling regarding an opportunity, say I'm calling about something interesting. So it's just got some human parts to it. However, what I actually notice is that we don't have much about the business in here. Does it have about down here? So I'm gonna have to say, because I did a pretty good prompt here, and then I said add the human part to it, and then it did add the human part to it, but it missed some parts out of it. So all I'm gonna say in here, and I'll quickly pause it and redo it, and I'm just gonna tell it to combine the two prompts together. Okay, just so while it's out here doing its thing, it actually says, yes, absolutely. Looking back, I need to combine some things. So it's just busy reading it out. And we're talking about the flow again when someone says, hi there, who am I speaking with? Get their name, message delivery, call to action, transfers, booking. And again, I'm not going to set those up, but you get the idea. Natural language comes to the script part, about the business, quick fix, reminder, you're a real receptionist, always translate the new message, keep a sentence short. Much better. Okay, so cool. We have a prompt, and even if this is not the best, we can always get back to it. Okay, so we're gonna hit the copy in here. Now I'm gonna add that in here, and we can actually just go and test this. Should just work for us on here. Even though the message is not going to work. So what we can do is, let's just test this. Hello,
Hello, how can I help you today?
you called me?
I see what you did there. I'm here whenever you need me. Just let me know how I can assist you today.
All right, who is this?
It looks like your question is incomplete. Could you please clarify what you're
Oh,
asking about? I'm here to help.
all right. Actually, what we forgot to do is hit the publish button. Okay, so that's all right. We're just going to publish. This is going to be version 1. All right, version published. Anyway, that's a problem. We're gonna test this heaps later on. So, what we now have is we have our AI agent, and we have a couple of names, and what we need is the actual phone number, and we're going to need an API key. So do yourself a favor and just open yourself a notebook or notepad as such. I'll just bring up my notepad down here. So what I want to do is I just have this here on the side. I'm just going to come through here and I'm going to copy the agent ID. And I'm just going to say agent ID. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to go back. And what I need is, or let's just go back in here. Just remember we're going to have those dynamic variables. So I'm going to copy those. So we have the spelling right. And to remember those, I'm going to come through in this. No, don't copy it all. We're going to come through in this. And just put that like that. Then the phone number we're going to call out from, because I have in here a New Zealand phone number linked up. I'm going to hit the copy in this one. And I'll come back in here and I'm going to paste that in there. So this is going to be an outbound phone number, because we need to remember, you'll see when we trigger these, we need to call out from a number. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to come to keys. I'm going to go add a key, an API key. I'm going to call this YouTube Chrome extension delete now. I always see these delete now, so I remember when I look at them, it says delete now. All right. Delete now. Can we create more than one key? Oh, no, just confuse it. Delete now. Where's delete now? And I had to copy this in here. And I'm just going to say API key. Now, that's kind of done in there, right? So we have those in there. Now, how are we going to action it? And it's all going to be part of a webhook. And I'll show you what I mean. So it's going to be a webhook API kind of request. So if you just come to retail AI API documentation, we should have it in here, retail AI, and we're going to go to API keys, and you can actually test it within here, and you'll see this is pretty cool. So authorization. So we're going to make in demo a test call, and I was going to grab my phone here for a second. Make sure it's on. We've got power. Sometimes I don't have the best reception here, but what we're going to do is authorization is going to be your API key. Now we're going to program all this in. You just wait for the front end. This is just going to be a test. So the from number, I'm just going to copy these over. So the from number is the one we're going to use. And then the to number is going to be, that's my own number, overriding agent ID. And it's got the descriptions down here, but that's that agent ID that we copied earlier on. So I'm going to copy that one, put it in there. Now, that cool extra bits is retail AI dynamic variables. So we're going to come through in here. The name of new property is going to be business name. Oh, where did we go? Business name. Additional I don't actually know we can actually trigger all these curl requests. Come on. What happens if I push enter? There we go. Business name, and then I'm gonna have the message in here. Gonna add that in here. So the business name we're gonna call is this is just gonna be a sample, golden landscaping, and our message is gonna be you have a nice website. I can improve it and get you more clients. Okay. So we're going to say, that's all in there already. Okay. So this is kind of what the cool is, HTTP posting, port 80 posting. And all we're going to say is we're going to make this posting. We're going to authorize with our key. We're going to call a number from a certain number using a specific AI agent. We're going to call this business in here. All right. So this is just all the things from in here and here. So I hope you're with me. I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, just follow along. All we're doing with this tool is making a manual phone call, kind of like what we're going to do with the model later on. So it's going to hit send in here. Now I'm hoping, here we go. So the phone call. Let's hear what happens. Hello.
Oh, hey there. This is Samantha. Who am I speaking with?
This is Marcus.
Hey, Marcus. I'm calling from Altus. So he actually asked me to reach out because he was checking out your website and noticed a few simple tweaks that could help you bring in more clients. Would you like me to connect you to him now, or should we set up a call for later?
No, all good. Thank you. Bye. Cool. Right. So that's the idea. That works. We can, let's say scrolling for a business. Again, this is going to be good for example, real estate. Like, hello, I am the receptionist for David's real estate agency. I noticed you're selling your house. I got a great deal for you. Um, can I transfer you to David? For example. Okay. So just a proof of concept. And again, the main one that I build out can SMS, text, offers like a lot extras, but it's the proof of concept. So this all works. This is awesome. This is great. This is what we want. We are going to come through and we're going to copy this cool replace in here. And it'll scroll down and we're going to hit that in there because this is what we're going to need later on. And that's pretty much it. Our back end is built out. So now I'll go through and show you just how easy it is to build out the front end. So all we have done is we've created a outbound call assistant that has dynamic variables that can pass it over. And what I wanted to demonstrate there is kind of the prompting that you just need to think out a little bit. Because if they just called and rambled on, then that's not going to work. Okay. So have a think about this, and then we're now going to look at the back end. So I'll get all that ready and let's get in the front end. Sorry, the front end. Let's build out a cool Chrome extension and I'll show you how that all works right after this. All right, so before we build out any sort of products, it is always good to have a bit of a conversation with a large language module, and we want to ask this large language module, whichever one you prefer, to create a PRD, product requirement document. Okay, and all we're going to say is what we want, and it is just going to create a document that kind of sets out it in a way that our AI coding assistant can help us with. Now, what I want is I want a Chrome extension that is not a pop-up. So what's this one in here? So if I plug this one in here and you can see when this is a demo one I built in one of my other videos, this is a pop-up, right? So it's in here, and if I click here, it's gone. We want the extensions that actually sits on the side. So it's a sidebar um, extension rather than a pop-up extension. Then we're going to want a form that we fill out, and we're going to want to submit it. We also want to have a settings menu in there. And in the settings menu, we want to change the variables that we have here. So we're going to want to change the API key, and we're going to want to change the from number we're dialing, from number, and we want to change the AI assistant or the agent that we want to call. Okay. So I was going to need to think of some fancy prompting, and I'll quickly write it all out. And then we'll go over it. So I'll just move this out the way and I'll just quickly pause it. I'll just quickly type it out and we can go through what I've said and why I have said this. All right, you can quickly have a read of this, pause, copy, paste this over, it doesn't matter. But what this does is just a prompt to create this PRD document. And all I'm saying is that kind of outside in, I want a sidebar Chrome extension. I don't want it to be a pop-up. I want it to have a dark kind of theme. And then I just tell it what the functions and functionality is. I say, when I use the input code to scan a website for a business name and telephone number, and then add it to a form that's on the side. The form has the business name and the phone number, and obviously has a message and notes. I just thought I'd add the notes in there because we'll just add a little bit extra at the end. So just keep watching. Then I also made sure that I say that we have a settings menu, because in the settings menu, I want to have these so we can always use it. I don't want to have it hard coded. So when we download and add these Chrome extensions, you can always change it so it's usable for anyone and everyone. Okay, so I hope that part makes sense. So I just go through, I just tell it I need to have those dynamic variables, have those variable names, and then replace them within here. And then it just chuck it out what the idea is, um, how we're going to measure it. And a really good part is the little wireframes. I like the little wireframes before images. These days you can do images in here, but it just says what it should kind of look like. And the important part here is, so it's going to be the structure. And this is going to be it. So the first payload, so payload is the data we're going to send. The first payload is going to look like this. It comes from our curl command that just says that in the header of the HTTP post request, we are going to have the authentication. Then we're going to send it in JSON format. This is what the JSON format is going to look like, and we just replace those things that hopefully from the setting carry over. And then the second webhook is going to be a post webhook as well. We'll get to that part at the end. I just added that part, and then I had to reprompt it, but it just gives a PRD in here. I just said need to make sure we have a successful. I just said that we need to hard code it into actually just two separate actions. Okay, so it gives us a PRD document. So what you're going to do is I'm just going to come in here and open my file browser and browsing system here. I was going to go to my C drive. I have a thing called projects. Where's our projects? Projects in here. I was going to say new folder, YouTube. Let's go YouTube, Chrome, retail. And in here, I'll just create this new document. So the easiest way to do it is make it a prd.md. It's just a file format that it can read really well. So what I was going to do is copy this over, and I'm going to say copy. Now you can use a bunch of tools. I think the easiest one is just Notepad. I don't actually know if the normal Notepad. Let me see if it actually has that function to save as a separate form. File save as. And no, it doesn't have MD in here. Let's see what it does if I say this. Hold on a second. See if this works. I'm not sure. Depends what Windows you use, I guess. So it's going to go to that file project path. Where's projects? Projects up here. Chrome extension, and we're going to call this prd.md. Hopefully it doesn't save it as just a text file. No, it didn't. So that's all right. That worked. Just make sure when you say file save as, it doesn't matter too much actually. If it was a normal text file, it'd be same, but kind of just the standard format is .md files. Okay, so and it's markdown. It's just the format that it gives, and we can see actually when it saves it up in here, it says markdown. So close this, and then next thing we're gonna start building this out, and you can just look up Gemini CLI, and that's what we're going to use. And I'll show you just how easy it is. So In the previous video, I talked about it, and earlier on, I talked about it. I talked about how things like Lovable is cloud-based, things like Cursor is on your native device, but it's got an interface ID, got an interface. And then the CLI modules, it's a more command line. Really works kind of the same. You've got to know a little bit about either your Windows or Linux command line. I use Claude Code for a bit. It's really good. It's really powerful, expensive, and Gemini CLI is free because we got a couple of cool a free tier. It's quite generous, and considering we're building only a little file in here, it is good enough to use. It is really easy to install as well because you can just click on here and it's just one command. Make sure you log into Windows as a browser, and you can just come and that's your install options. Okay, there, just that one there, and then sorry, this one here, and you just run Gemini. So for me, I'm just going to open PowerShell, and I'm just going to come over here because it's going to go to that folder, projects, what do I call it? YouTube Chrome test, and or there's my file there. Okay, so can I make this bigger? I think I had this problem last time where I kind of wanted to zoom in a little bit, and I'm not sure if we can view this. Yeah, I don't think you can change the font for this. There you can, Control++. So good when everything's the same. So anyway, let's hit Gemini, and it should just pop it up. If I have installed it, sure I have. I'll also just move my face out of the way a little bit. Let's put me up here for a second. Move this more down here because a lot of the authorization is down the bottom here. So what I'm going to say in here is read the prd.md file and create a full Chrome extension for me. I will load it myself. Just create the file set. Now, so let's pause a second. So Chrome extensions works by having a couple of files, and we actually just tell it in here what the file structure should look like. It's got the manifest. It kind of sets out the outline, and then it's got the JS script and HTML script and CSS for the styling in here. So all I'm telling it is to create this with the necessary code for all of this, and we're going to copy it in. So you'll see where this goes. I'm just telling it to go out and program it. Now, what happened a couple of other times is if I don't say I will load it myself, it actually tries and goes and loads it itself, and then it gives a bit of a permission error. So it actually can do that, which is really good in a way. However, I'm just going to say that I'll load it myself. So, and I just say, read the file, create it. Okay, create the application for me. So we'll hit the enter button, and yeah, Gemini CLI. You can see it's going to, this is what Lovable does in the background. I just don't show you this in short. Okay, so, and it actually shouldn't take too long. You'll see, yeah, it kind of tells you what it's doing. Like I said, I used Claude Code before. So while it's all in there doing its thing, let's see if we can bring out, now, I did some other videos about this. I really think that, so I'm just going to say allow everything. So I'm giving it permission to go wild. Okay. Dangerous, but hey, it's okay in here. Now, what I like about Gemini CLI is it actually works in the command line within Windows. However, Claude Code is, you can see it's very similar. You have to install, if you're on Mac, you'll be okay, but on Windows, you have to install a Linux type emulator. So I can just go to a directory, for example. And if this was a test, we would have done 2 tests at the same time, but I'm sorry, I need to come back here again. Yes, allow once. Yes, always allow. I don't know why I still need to say this. Yes, always allow. This is now annoying. It should just always allow all of these for me. Let's go ahead and do your thing. Where was I? So that's doing that. So Claude Code, annoying in a way that you have to install Linux on it, and you have to pay for those tokens. See projects. Our CD C drive, CD projects. I have that right. And instead of files and there's creating the extension. But I think it's just Claude. It looks the same, right? Do you trust the files in this folder? Yes, proceed. And I couldn't have any credits. So I'm sure I've actually, I need to install the latest Claude. Anyway, kind of looks the same, does the same thing. However, you pay for Claude. Okay, so I don't mind all this. So what I'll do is I'll shut this and we will pause this and it's really close to finishing. So I'll let it do its thing. We'll pause and we'll come back once it's done. All right, so it's done. You can read through all your stuff if you want to. And at the end of the day, obviously, you can just copy and paste this extension as it is. I'll give it to you in the community groups and just use it straight away. But let's see if it actually works. So once it's done, we'll tell you it's done. You can kind of come down the bottom. We'll tell you how little you use. But I'll just move this out of the way a little bit. And then all you need to do is you come into your Chrome browser, and on the right hand side there's a little button here, says extensions, and click on that and make sure development mode is on. So you click on it, and you scroll manage extensions, click development on, and then come to your folder that you created with your file in. And all I'm going to do is drag it over into here. And just like that, it loads the website content extractor and data. Sweet. So how's it going to work? I need to bring our little thing up in here. So remember your notes you have in here. So what I'll do is we'll see if it loads first. Come through here, I'll pin it. So it's here. And then I'll click this. Sweet. And there it is. That's good. That's what it kind of should look like, right? So let me quickly show you a couple of things. So obviously we need to come in here, come to settings, and we're just going to copy and paste the things we have over. So I have the top one API key, which I'll copy over. Whoops. Now I obviously need to remember to delete that one. API key, the agent key, the forum number. Now, I'll get into this in the second part. It's just for a bit of extra, just to add a bit of bonus. Secondary website URL. Now, I know at the start we said we're not going to use N8N, but let's say it's coming to N8N. I just created this blank webhook in here. And it's just, we're going to just use the extra. Okay, so you'll see. I'll hit the listen in there. And we're going to paste it in there. Oops, and I need to stop that one here. Stop. Now, when we say save, it says settings saved. So come in here and the settings are still in there. Nice. Okay, so that works. Now, will it scan the website? So it should scan through all of this and kind of find a number down the bottom. Let's see if it does. Scan. Sweet. All right, it's got the name of it messed up because I actually don't have it. The world's leading AI and automation agency. It's got a number in here. Nice, that works. So let's go to this website. So we're going to clear this. We're going to scan this, and there we go. So it actually finds the martial arts place. It finds a number, message, and note. Now, yeah, only thing you need to do here is you need to remember the number is always going to have a country code to it. So that's all right. You can manipulate that later, or you can just add a thing in here that remember once we're actually going to do this, and I shouldn't do this to this number, that you should always change the country code to whatever you have. So let's pretend this is the number in here. So this is the business. And I'm going to say, tell them they have a nice website. I can help improve the website by adding a voice chatbot to it. I'd like to talk to them. And I actually have a voice chatbot in here anyway that I've set up, but in notes is just going to be a website dialed for this. Change that. Now, two things should happen. We should get some data in here. Where's that N8N? We're going to listen here. And we're going to hit the submit button. And hopefully I get a phone call. Make sure the number is correct. Successfully send. Sweet. This has come through. Oh, there comes my phone call. Let's have a listen. Hello.
Oh, hi there. This is Samantha. Who am I speaking with?
To Andrea.
Hey, Andrea. I'm calling from Altus. So he actually asked me to reach out because he was checking out your website. Looks really great, by the way, and he saw a cool way to make it even better by adding a voice chatbot. Would you like to chat with him about it now, or should we set up a call for later?
No, all good. Hey, I'm gonna hang up. Thank you. Goodbye. All right, that works, right? That's awesome. Now you can play with the prompts, make it say a bit of different things. You can go add those functionalities of the call transfers and the websites and the calendar bookings, and their awesome works, right? So just one small little awesome little extension works really, really well. Now, what is the secondary webhook? Like I said, the main one of these that I've built out actually can do the phone call, can do the email, can do the SMS to it, or the messaging to it. However, you need to add webhooks for it, and all of the stuff, it just gives us details to come in here. And now you can do anything with this. Like we can add next step, and would be maybe a Excel sheet, or you can append or add update a row. If you have a sheet in here you want to update a row to, we can add the email function in here if we want to send email. So again, now the possibility gets really, really endless, and that kind of just shows again what I wanted to show you in regards to how you should build a total function. So I've just given you the first step, but think of this as the total function building super agent slash product or AI infrastructure. Name it whatever you actually want. Now, lots of different ways to do this, lots of different ways to get this up and working, but you saw that that's in there. It worked really well with Gemini. It's free. I also use Codex, OpenAI's Codex in here that has gone and created a similar one, but it was really ugly looking. I don't want to show that into you, but also there's lots. You can also create this in Cursor. You can in here. I just went straight into Gemini and I just pasted that in and said create this in the canvas for me. Now obviously it's not going to be an extension, but you can download this and play and configure it, it's not really workable because it only does HTML code within the canvas in here. But the AI Studio from Google also has this function in here. So you can actually build out all the code in here, save it and download it. And it does the same thing. You can scan for a website in here that has the example in here. You can have the settings and fill all that in. So it all does the same thing. So there's lots of options to do the same thing. But what I wanted to show you is the concept, the idea of thinking and doing a bit more. So I hope this really made sense and you understand these kind of things. Obviously, I can just save this and I'll probably just add it into the community in here. So if you want to go and get this and get the code for it and get the prompt for it, for example, I'll just add it all in the free resource community. Okay, so hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it, hope it made sense, and yeah, just think a little bit outside the box, and you'll definitely get ahead of the curve and build awesome products like this. Please like, please follow, please subscribe. Please just add a comment, say cool or bad video or whatever. But yeah, looking forward to talking to everyone later.